Welcome back to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time. One of our subscribers on this channel was asking me just one question. And he was asking me, Achando, with a few hours to the Jacaranda rally, it seems this government is scared stiff. Even though they're trying to put a brave face, their body language shows something else. And he was telling me, can you find out and tell me what you think is the biggest scare of this government? Because I have listened to the language both of our president, William Ruto, and the language of Rigathi Gachagua. And in this sense, I mean the verbal language and the body language. If you study both the verbal language and the body language, you will realize that behind that brave facade lies a scary administration. And in this video, I just wanted to try and find out, I want to look at what is the biggest scare. What is so different in this, what they call maandamano, even though Raila says it's a consultative people's meeting. I'll try to be very fast. I've got just 4 maybe points that makes me feel that Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto are afraid of the Jacaranda rally. Number 1, the fear of the unknown. And this was revealed by the Deputy President himself, Rigathi Gachagua, when he was asking, hawa watu wakiendelea na maandamano waende Jacaranda, then what next? That question sounded like a brave man laughing off something that will happen. But if you scrutinize that question very carefully, you will realize that Rigathi Gachagua is not laughing off the Azimio. He's actually wondering with a lot of fear. There's a connotation of fear in it. They will go for the maandamano, then what next? And I will tell you that at the center of their fear and dismay is that question. And let me just be straight to the point. This administration fears that Raila could lead a revolution. You see, sometimes when we look at what is happening in Kenya, we think that a revolution cannot take place. Let me just ask, what is the difference between Kenya and those countries that have undergone revolutions? Because it starts like what is happening today. The people are charged and they seem to be very ready. The Azimio supporters are saying, you tell us the way. If it is walking straight to State House, we will go. And I will tell you why even Rigathi Gachagua or William Ruto himself would not want a situation where they are now compelled to face a revolution. Revolutions are always very bloody. If you look at the nations that have witnessed revolutions, places like the North Sudan and all the Arab countries like Tunisia and Egypt, it is always met with brutal police force. And with the kind of force that police is coming with, they are met with the people's force. People who are very charged. It is always very bloody. And in most of them, the government in place has never won. When the people are charged, you will kill very many of them. But finally, you will leave office. And let me tell you why. The former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, just left office a few months ago. And there are soldiers who are still very loyal to him. And if it starts on a serious note, the military could be divided. And I don't wish that these things should happen, but these are things that do happen every day. We see them. And so when the military is divided, they will take over. And then they will tell William Ruto to stay away so that they can take over for a few months as they arrange things in order. So that is number 1. That is one thing that they fear. You saw William Ruto yesterday announced that he will bring the military forces in Nairobi, and he was trying to say that they are going to help with the houses and the bridges that are in Nairobi. but he was launching the affordable housing program in Shaurimoya, and he announced that he has sat down with the military council and they have agreed they will be deployed in the streets, quote unquote, to be helping. But in real sense, I read mischief. The military will be placed strategically, maybe to sell fear to the Azimio supporters. Number two, Raila Odinga has defied the international community. That is a fact. You see, the international community has always come to the rescue of William Samoei Ruto. Whenever he is faced with a situation where Raila Amolo Odinga wants to do something, he will always run to them, and then the US ambassador or the UK High Commissioner will always come and talk to Raila, and Raila sometimes or always will backtrack and let Ruto have his way. But this time round, it seems Raila has defied the orders from the West. Last time, when he was supposed to arrange, he had arranged for the parallel Jamhuri rally in the same venue where they will be meeting tomorrow. But he was hurriedly invited to Washington, D.C. to attend a US-Africa summit in his capacity as a AU High Representative of Infrastructure. But this time round, Raila has refused. Because the other day before he jetted out to South Africa, he met the UK High Commissioner, Jane Marriott. And I want to believe that they must have discussed matters concerning his meetings with the people, the rallies. And he was also, maybe they talked about allowing Ruto to visit Nyanza, which he did. If there is a body that is feared everywhere, is the international community, the USA and the Britain and all that. Even in the war that is taking place between Russia and Ukraine, it is said that they really give support to Ukraine by giving very powerful weapons, and that is why Ukraine has sustained that war. And they always scare every African leader. I have seen a few leaders who defy them, leaders like President Kagame in Rwanda. But many times when they speak, when they cough, leaders will catch cold. But this time Raila Amolo Odinga has refused, and it seems he has refused for every truce. And this is one thing that Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto are scared of. Because what next? They have always been running to them. But Raila said no. And so this is also giving them their biggest fear. The third one is the refusal by Raila Amolo Odinga to accept a handshake. You see, let me tell you something. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua are chest thumping, saying that, we will not allow politics of intimidation and threats and blackmail. We will not allow this guy to come for handshake because he intimidated Kibaki, he intimidated Uhuru, and Uhuru accepted handshake. We will not allow. But if you see what they are doing in the dark rooms, right now, the Attorney General came up with some proposals that they want to amend by Parliament the laws so that Raila can be the minority leader in the National Assembly and his running mate Martha Karua becomes the minority leader in the Senate. What does this tell you? The other day they were saying that they are very ready. In fact, William Ruto did a letter to the two speakers that they want to create an office of opposition leader, ostensibly to help Raila criticize and manage them. This tells you that they are making noise on one side that they don't want a handshake, but their interpretation of a handshake is to welcome Raila Odinga with a big office, because this office was coming with several privileges. A secretariat, it will be managed by, it will be funded by the exchequer. Raila will have an opportunity to visit the two parliaments once in a year. So they thought Raila would take this. But Raila mentioned in the Kamkunji rally that he does not want any handshake. So this gives them their biggest fear, because they thought when Raila accept this, then they will work together. This is a way of like what I'm saying now. He has refused, and this is giving them another scare. The third one is the emotions with which Raila came to Kamkunji. Raila was very angry. I've seen Raila, and very many people have seen Raila in the campaigns, but never before have we seen him emotional like he was. And the language that he was speaking was that of, we are ready to go to jail, we are ready to die, we must defend. You see, those are those are tones of a man who is ready to do anything. And when they remember that Raila has been detained, and at his age, I can assure you that it will be very difficult to arrest. If you apprehend Raila, the country will go into turmoil. Let me just ask you a question. What do you think will happen if Raila supporters see him maybe in court, that Raila is answering charges of maybe causing disturbance and all that? You know what might happen? So that is their biggest scare. And this is coupled with the mere fact that when they thought that Raila supporters would be very tired, because that is what they have been saying, that, you know, Raila supporters are tired. They have been told that Raila, you know, Raila has always claimed that his votes are stolen for years, and so they will not go to the streets or go to the rallies. But if you see the supporters, they are more charged than ever before. They look like wounded lions. And so this is also their biggest scare, because to deal with such a crowd is not very easy. You can charge the police, you can charge the military, but going by what has happened in the other countries, it's not going to be easy. Because remember, William Ruto just a few years ago had a case in Hague where he was accused of masterminding death of very many citizens. So they will not want a situation where this crowd are pitted against the security. The last one is the ability of Raila Odinga to unite the Azimio fraternity. At some point, Jeremiah Kioni wanted to go. Even Kalonzo, who is not always very active, and sometimes was saying that his conscience will not allow him to support Raila again, was in that rally. So Raila, Jeremiah Kioni, Kalonzo, Martha Karua, you saw Oparanya, and of course, we had Eugene Wamalwa. This is something that is giving them their scary moment. And this is the reason why you see them trying to hold meetings with people like Sabina Chege to create a perception that the Jubilee wing is not with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, in my very considered opinion, whatever I've given you is what scares Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto the most. I don't know what you think. Please share with me if there is something that I've left out, but those are the elements that cause a lot of fear within the corridors of State House. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.